Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's always good to say these words. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat is here, and Shabbat came to save us from all the things that we were doing before Shabbat. All the running and the worrying and the concern, and just a time for a deep rest. And time to enjoy the beauty and the holiness and the song and the Torah and all the things that Shabbat brings. And we'll be going to begin right now to sing together Yedid Nefesh and welcome Shabbat that way together. Those who join us on a live stream or Zoom are also part of our community, and we embrace all together into one big community in many different parts of the country and even the world to welcome Shabbat. Page 10 or page 252. page 11, on page 254. אשר לא היה מועצר, ויבש את ידיו יצר. כי הוא אלוהינו, ואנחנו נשמע על ידו. היום בקולו תשמעו, תקשו לבנכם כמלבד.
40 שנה
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. Sing to Adonai a new song. For many months of the pandemic, we have all been behind the screen most of the time. And so we have, I think, cultivated a certain passivity in terms of singing. We haven't, most of us, ventured to sing in our living rooms or in our homes as loud as we have sung for many years when we come together in community. So we have, I think, to reclaim our participation, to reclaim our song, to sing it as if it were a new song. Even those who are at home, sing, participate. Don't be passive. This is not a performance. We're not here to sing on your behalf. We're here to sing with you and together to generate this new song, page 13 or page 254, the second half of the page. הגידו השמיים צדקו, כל אדם כבודו. שמה ותשמח ציון, ותהלל בנות יהודה, למען משפטך צדיק ולשלב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני והודו זכר קודשו מזמור. הודיע אדוני ישועת אליהם על צדקתו, הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ פצחו אתה כוננת משנים משפט וצדקה ויעקב אתה עשית. ואהרון בכהניו ושמואל בקורא שמו קוראים אל אדוני והוא יענה. אדוני אלוהינו נשתחו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. Please rise, page 21 or 216. מזמור לדוד הבו לאדוני בן אלי
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So some of you may already know this about me, but I'm going to share, it's not such a secret, but a little secret, that when I started rabbinical school, I knew one thing about what I wanted to do with my rabbinate. And that one thing was that I did not want to go into pulpit work. Thank you. And now, clearly you can see things have changed. Something changed for me along the way. And what drew me to this work and to being here in a community, and really such a special community like BJ, is the fact that there are few, and potentially maybe no other places than in a shul or in a synagogue, that you have a truly intergenerational community. One where everyone is living together, not things are happening siloed in certain places, but that there's interaction between people of all ages, that there is prayer between people of all ages, that there is schmoozing and talking and learning Torah between age groups, and there's kiddush, there are cookies, there's sitting at a table with people of many, many different ages. That this is exactly what it is to be in a community. This is what shul is all about and why I wanted to be here. The sacredness of God is found in each stage of life, and every stage of life is found in a thriving shul community, just like ours at BJ. Parshat Chayei Sarah opens by telling us that Sarah died at the age of 127. The opening line of the parsha reads, Vayu Chayei Sarah mea shana ve'esrim shana ve'sheva shanim shnei Chayei Sarah. Sarah's lifetime came to 100 years, and 20 years, and 7 years. That was the life of Sarah. The commentators quickly pick up on the repetition of the word years, which is something you may have noticed as I was reading this pasuk, this line from the Torah. Because usually the Torah is sharp and to the point. And we're also taught that there is nothing that is superfluous in the text. No word, no letter, not even the spaces are there without meaning or reason. So the question is, why are we told that Sarah lived 100 years and 20 years and 7 years? Why not just 127? Rashi answers this question based on a midrash, sharing that Sarah was 100, but she was like a 20-year-old in that she was free of sin. The idea is that in the tradition, you don't take on sins until after the age of 20, and so her entire life was one who was pure of sin. And when she was 20, that she was like a 7-year-old in her beauty. And there are commentators who say this isn't her physical beauty. This isn't something about her attractiveness. This is about the beauty of what it is to be a child, the beauty of freedom, the beauty of innocence, that innocence of youth. And Rabbi Yosef Dov Soloveitchik uses this teaching from Rashi to reveal what was so unique about Sarah. And he tells us that the years, Rashi starts by saying, the years of Sarah's lifetime were equal, and they were all good. They were all for the good. And Rabbi Soloveitchik says that usually a person goes through the different stages of life. We have infancy, childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, middle age, and old age. And in general, for most of us, when we finish one stage of that life cycle or of that period of time in our lives, we just move on to the next. We leave the earlier stages behind. We may bring some of the memories with us at that time, but that period of life is finished and closed. Each stage, though, has something special about it, and that's what Rashi in the Midrash is noticing about Sarah, that 100 brings wisdom, and 20 brings this idealism and this idea of youthful enjoyment, and that the age of 7 represents this beauty and innocence and purity. What was so unique about Sarah, Rabbi Soloveitchik points out, is that throughout her entire life, she was 100, and she was 20, and she was 7. She did not leave each stage behind her, but she took each of them along with her. And this is exactly what being a part of an intergenerational shul community can do for us, for each one of us. By building relationships with people of all ages, we become like Sarah Imenu. We fill our minds and our souls with every age and every life stage, valuing the beauty and journey of what life is all about. Being a part of this very community allows each of us to become ageless, learning from and with the people around us of all ages. But much of this has been on pause. What I shared about the intergenerational qualities of a shul were all true until the start of the pandemic, when our shuls were empty. When I came for my very first Shabbat morning, and it was just Felicia and Ari and an empty sanctuary. When we first sang the piercing melody of Jai Utal, the melody we use for the Birkat Kohanim, the children's blessing, and all I had to hold on to was the image that was painted for me by others of the children coming and standing underneath the talus to receive this blessing and a little sweet treat for Shabbat. The miracle of the vaccine began to change all of that and began to bring our shul back to life. Over the past couple of months, we have started regular family programming here on Shabbat mornings and have even been able to bless some of our children under the chuppah, under the talit here in the sanctuary. And this week came with the thrilling and hopeful headlines that the FDA believes that soon our children can begin to be vaccinated. Right before Shabbat, the New York Times posted, FDA clears first coronavirus vaccine for young children. This is the news that some of us have been waiting for since we heard about a vaccine. This is the news that impacts all of us as an intergenerational community. This is the news that will allow us to be whole again, a thriving community of all ages, a community that is ageless, ensuring that every year for each and every one of us is one of goodness and one that is full of what life has to offer. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Could you with Lecha Dodi on page 23 or page 262? מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קומי צאי מתוך ההפיכה רב לך שבעמק הבכה והוא יחמור על הלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשמה שבת נקבלה, בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה צהולה תוך אמונה עם סגור. שבת המלכה We welcome now on Zoom two families that are mourning this week in our community to offer their condolences, David and Amy Landesberg, and their children Ella, Noah, and Maya, and who are mourning the death of David's mother, Marcy Landesberg, and also Ellen and Fred Harris, who are mourning the death of Ellen's mother, Doris Schwartz. To them and their families, as they come in on Zoom and join our praying community this Shabbat, we offer them the words of comfort on page 26 or at the bottom of page 265. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שער אבלי ציון בירושלים. May God comfort you along with all the other mourners of Zion and Yerushalayim, and some say also מן השמיים תנוחמו. May you find comfort from heaven. May you all be seated. מזמור שיר ליום השבת on page 266 or page 27. נאמנו מאור, לביתך נא בקודש אדוני, לאורך ימים.
We turn now to the service of Arvit, page 39a or page 279. We invite you to rise if you're able.
מעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבי
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם בלילה ואהבתך אל תשים ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב אבות ישראל
Shema
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובמלאכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאורות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך בין שמותיהם. ישמעו לכם. Page 43a. We turn to Micha Mocha, page 44 or page 290.
משה ומרים לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה, שמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדון, מי כמוך נדר בכל, נולדתי אוספת, נולדתי אוספת. כיפד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו, מיד חזר מירד, ברוך אתה אדוני על ישראל. לי לי ני ני נה נה נה, לי לי ני ני נה נה נה, היי ני נה
Pray for peace, page 45 or page 292.
ובאמת
ויתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה ועמד ירח ירצה והמליך מלכותה
לך יחום יומך וחיי
כל בית ישראל
בגלה ובזמן קריב יבוא
אמן יש מרמה מברך לעולם ולמלמיה יתברך
וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי תקודשו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה.
We face towards Yerushalayim for the silent Amidah, which can be found on page 47 or 296 if you are searching for the formal text or the prayers that are in your own hearts. We remain standing, page 53, Vayechulu, or page 314.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ בכל צבעם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל אלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון קודש שמיים וארץ.
מגן אבות בדברו מחיי מתים במאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניע לעמו יום שבת קודשו כי הוא רצה להניח להם לפניו נעמוד מילה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מאוד הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה
לעמד ושני עונג
למעשה בראשית אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו רצנה במנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ושימי חלקנו בתורתה שבענו מטובך ושמח נפשנו בישועתך ותאר ליבנו לעובדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך וינוחו בה כל ישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Kaddish Shalom, page 54, page 316. יתגדל יקדש ברבה ויעלת יברך ירצה וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וימכון וחייתך בית ישראל בגדה וזמן קרים ויאמרו
אמן. יש מרמה מבן לעולם
ויסבח ויפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתלהשמין קודשה ברכו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמם אמרו אמן.
תתקבל צלותון ואותון לכל ישראל קודם אבוהון וישמעי ואמרו אמן.
יש לנו ישועיה וחיים עלינו ולכל ישראל ויאמרו
אמן. עושה שלום בדרומם
ויעקב יושבי תבל
ואמרו
This Shabbat we celebrate Emily Ostreger becoming a bat mitzvah, and she'll lead us in Kiddush on page 55 or on page 318 if you're in Sim Shalom. And we invite everyone who's at home to grab a cup of juice or a cup of wine. You can also grab some other beverage. You just don't say B'rei Pri Hagafen at the beginning. Juice. Any children that are here under the age of bar mitzvah are invited to the front to come under the talit. We can offer a blessing. Emily's. Come this way. Over here. I think my children are here, but resistant there. Okay, one sec. Together, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichonecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, Yasem lecha Shalom. Amen. Aleinu, page 56 or page 320.
עלינו לשבח לדור הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית. לא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. שמיים תחת עינו
כתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך ואדם בהן והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד שמו
We now invite all those who are in mourning or marking a yahrzeit to remain standing. And if you're on Zoom, we invite you to unmute at this time to say Mourner's Kaddish on page 58 or page 324. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ba'ama divrach v'yurutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayachon u'v'yamachon chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yamru amen.
Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba
v'barach
לעלם ולעלמי הלוויה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מנקוב ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה לאמירן ועמה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום
Shalom v'ramah,
Amen. May be seated. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We want to wish a Mazal Tov to Emily and her entire family on her becoming a bat mitzvah. She'll be called to the Torah tomorrow morning. And a big mazal tov to Elisa and Dan Doctoroff, who I think became grandparents for the first time, right? On the birth of their granddaughter, Lila Miles Doctoroff, to parents Jacob Doctoroff and Eliza Swearin Becker Mazal Tov. And Mazal Tov also to the Weinger, Yoeli, Etra, Clan, Dahlia, and Paul had a baby girl yesterday, Rebecca. Forget the middle name, but the official announcement will go out. So Mazal Tov to the whole Yoeli, Etra, Weinger clan. Tomorrow morning at 8:45, if you'd like to gather in person for Achana L'Tfilah, a way to prepare beautifully for Shabbat morning services with liturgical poems with Roly, you're welcome to gather if you're vaccinated in the chapel. It's nice to have multiple spaces we're actually inviting people to, not just one place. So the chapel is now being used. It's a beautiful thing. At 8:45, at 9:30, services will begin in person to celebrate Emily's bat mitzvah and Shabbat Chayei Sarah, and anyone is welcome to come in person who's vaccinated, or children can come even if they're not vaccinated. And also we'll be on Zoom, live stream, Facebook Live, and YouTube. We also have in-person early childhood family Shabbat morning services at 10:15 in our community house on the 3rd floor, as well as 11 to 15 Shabbat morning family services on Family Life and Learning Facebook page. And tomorrow evening, as Shabbat concludes, we'll gather on Zoom for Arvit and Havdalah at 6:45. Just a reminder that Tuesday is election day. I actually early voted today, so you can early vote, I think, until Sunday, but election day is Tuesday. There's no Kadima classes or no supplementary education here. It's available early voting through Sunday, October 31st. There are 5 ballot proposals up for a vote. If you don't know, they're important also, including questions on the future of political representation in Albany, environmental protections, easier voting registration, and absentee balloting, and how New York civil courts function. So even though it's not an election for the president of the nation, it's these elections that really matter. I mean, every election matters, but sometimes we think they don't matter, and so we don't vote in the intermediate elections. And as you can see, when you go to vote, the proposals are important, and the choices that we make on all positions in the country are important. So we encourage everyone to do your research and make a plan to vote. It's a mitzvah to vote. It's a mitzvah to vote. Wednesday evening, we're launching officially our Shemitah program for the year with a very, very powerful panel called Visioning Our World Anew, with an in-depth conversation with Heather McGee, who's the author of Some of Us, who some of us have read. And she's an economic and political analyst and really thinks about the intersection of racism and economic policy. Rabbi B'nai Lappi, who is the founder of Svara, which is an LGBTQ yeshiva in Chicago, and Dr. Lori Zoloth, who we quoted, actually we read a powerful article of her. She's a professor at the Divinity School in Chicago and of ethics. And so it's going to be a really powerful conversation of how we can use the crises of the past 2 years to reimagine, rebuild our world in a new image. We invite everyone to join. It's going to be on, it's actually not going to be on Zoom, but you'll get the link if you need to register in order to join. So please join us for that. And finally, I also want to give a special welcome to our Intro to Judaism class. For those who don't know, every year we have an Intro to Judaism class, which is for people who are looking to convert to get a basic sense of Judaism, or to Jews who are wanting to know more about what it means to be Jewish. And so this Shabbat, Grace is teaching the class this year. Some of the members of the class who live in New York right now, the class is spread all over the country. So we welcome you to be with us on this Shabbat, and we look forward to getting to know you better. And finally, it's Shabbat Chayei Sarah, where, as Becca said, we read about the death of Sarah, and it ends also with the death of Abraham. And it's the first time that the Torah tells us about death and burial practices. And we invite you on this Shabbat to acquaint yourself with what are our practices in Judaism around death and burial, and the support that we as a community offer at this time. We also invite you to participate and learn about what matters, which are conversations that we have prior to, please God, prior to our deaths, so that we can make choices about what we want towards the end of our life, and there are choices to make, and it makes it easier for everyone at that time if those choices are clear. And finally, Shuli wrote that about these kinds of things in her Torch Shabbat. And finally, it's also, we want to highlight the Hebrew Free Burial Society, which is an organization that helps support people who don't have the funds. It's very expensive to die in our world, in our country, and so this helps support. So we invite you to support Hebrew Free Burial Society and connect with Billy DeStefano, our life cycle coordinator, or Jane, I'm blanking on her name.
Jane Potter.
No, actually it's
Jane,
our social worker from
Blumenstein.
sorry, if you want to find out more. We'll conclude with Shalom Aleichem on page 73 or page 722. Adonai Varech et Amav Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.